Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake, for all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs. Go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started.
Welcome back to the final cast. I'm Brad.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Matt.
Sorry about my voice tonight. I'm kind of losing it a little bit, but it's all good. So I don't know what's going on.
It's the change from winter to spring.
Probably is.
I feel like crap too.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's not good.
That's great. No, never.
Let's go over a few little things before we start. We got the Dale Hollow trip coming up. Me and Matt will both be there.
Yep.
What, the first, the second, or the third, something like that?
It will be. We're leaving the 31st,
third.
Thursday.
Yeah.
And then it's the tournament itself is the second and third, right? Yeah, second and third.
Yeah, so we'll be there all weekend.
Yep.
So yeah, if you guys are. If you don't have anything to do that weekend, come out and hang out. This is going to be a blast. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be awesome. Especially you're going to see, if you've never been there, you go to Eastport. I mean, that place is fantastic. And where they set up, I don't know, Brad, have you been to the new, like the off-site location, the venue?
I've never been down there yet at Eastport.
Okay. Well, so I went last year. That place is like beautiful. Like, I regret I'm not even this type of guy, and I was told Stacy, I was like, we should be here. Like, it's awesome.
Heck yeah.
So
that's cool. Well, I'm excited. The next thing we have is the kayak fishing fantasy. Do not, it's not too late for you guys to sign up. So if you guys want to sign up and play, there's a winner per quarter, I think, and a winner for the whole year. So go to paddleandfin.com and check that out. Yeah. Gonna be a good time. I keep forgetting to pick my team, so
yeah, I literally have it pulled up on my phone, and I was looking today for something at work, and I was like, oh, I forgot to do that again. And I was gonna do it on my lunch break, and then I forgot to do it again. So
yeah,
I'm I get done after.
I'm bad about it, even when it comes to NFL fantasy. So, but with that said, man, we got a cool episode planned. We're gonna be talking to Jake Rita from Korso Outdoors. I came across their ad on Facebook. I was like, caught my eye. I was like, man, this stuff looks kind of cool. Like, they got tie downs, they got buckets, rod holders, a bunch of other stuff on there. So we're going to bring him on and we're going to talk about it. Welcome to the show, Jake.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Pretty good. How are you doing tonight?
You want to start off by letting the listeners know who you are and how you got into this whole thing?
Yeah. So I work for Korso Outdoors. It's kind of a new brand started by the company. Well, it's kind of a parent company, but we do a lot of injection molding stuff. And one of my coworkers was kind of into the kayak fishing scene. And so he was kind of commenting on, some different things we can make in that realm. And one of the things he pointed out was the fact that like a lot of these accessory companies and things are coming out with different things, but it seems like they were lacking in, some industrial designing, some user-focused design, and also just colors in general. Like you kayak and all kinds of stuff for all these crazy colors, like with the swirling and everything from the rotomolding. But the accessories are just all, plain black nylon and, filled with black carbon stuff. So we had the idea to do kind of a redesign of some of these accessories, take a closer look at what people are really using them for, think about other things we can add to each of them, which we can go over kind of the details of some of them, so point out some things that we thought we improved on, and obviously just give it like a more cohesive aesthetic and some of the faceting and stuff that kind of ties in the whole product line. And just add color on top of that too. So, you can kind of make it your own.
I think the thing that caught my eye was definitely the color and definitely the way the knobs were designed. It's unique.
Yeah. We didn't want to go for just like a wing nut or something like that. We tried to take cues from some other industries where they're really focusing on those touch points. I've been the main like product designer on this, but I work with a couple of other engineers. Kaz, he's the one who kind of inspired the whole idea, and Matt as well. We all have backgrounds in kind of industrial and mechanical design, so we're always focused on touch points and different things that we can do to make it just a little bit easier to use. You may not notice it right up front, but after you've used it a number of times, or looked it over a little bit more, you'll notice, we're always using the same textures, or we're focused on, like you said, the knob. Like we looked at the profile more closely and said, okay, how can we make sure that when you're using it, it's got some good feedback, it's easy to grab and adjust even when you've got a wet glove on or something like that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so it's the little things, thinking about all the little things that, like you said, you might not notice it at first, but over time you'll notice, wow, like the knob, like you just said, how much easier it is to turn that knob because you're getting feedback from it instead of it just being a basic wing nut that it's tight when it stops turning and you're breaking your fingers trying to tighten it down, and it's loose when it spins out of your hand and goes in the water. I mean,
Done that before.
Yep, I sure have.
Yeah, we tried to prevent that on a couple of our designs. Like the bow tie has like a kind of a bridge that goes over top of the knob, so it's more captured. But yeah, there's still some downfalls that it's not foolproof.
So how long have you guys been doing this thing?
We just recently started this, so over the past year that we did a lot of the tooling up, kind of behind the scenes, and then finally getting all the packaging and everything together to launch it like last December for customers.
Okay. What was you guys face any challenges during COVID with that?
Yeah, I mean, like everybody in manufacturing, from getting the steel from molds when steel is in short supply to resin prices and shipping prices being all over the place, and our packaging was supposed to come in and then got delayed from the holidays, and then I don't know if you remember when there was that whole fiasco of the LA port being super backed up, like our packaging was just like sitting on a shipping container for God knows how long. And then when it showed up, it was like the wrong boxes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
that's just exactly. It's
like,
you're finally excited
small,
it's
right?
there, and then you just get excited it comes, and you're opening the box. You're like, oh, we waited months, and then you open it
up, and it's like I need these pieces to actually ship something out, and I have not a complete set of any one thing. So
oh man, that's rough.
Yeah. But
I can't wait till that's all over.
Yeah. So we kind of like tried to time things with that coming in. So there was a little bit of making sure customers were happy, saying like, "Hey, man, we don't have the nice box and everything for you, but here's an extra bow tie or whatever." Just making sure that customers were still happy. So
I mean, you'll see. That's another reason why I love. Like I'll talk about it all the time, and on my Instagram and stuff, I'll showcase smaller companies, and it's because of literally what you did. Like, hey, we don't have the packaging, it doesn't look the greatest from the packaging, but here's another piece that we apologize. It's not even there's nothing you have to apologize for, like as a consumer.
But it's just a matter of making sure that they have that positive experience.
Exactly, which is what I love that. You will never see that happen most of the time in huge companies, and that's the reason why most people that I know will always flock to smaller companies.
We really appreciate the understanding that some customers have showed us.
It's funny you guys are talking about that, because I was thinking about this as I was at work a few days ago, and I'm like sitting there thinking about Bahio sunglasses, for instance. We had them on a show, and I'm like, man, I really like supporting these smaller companies better than the bigger companies, just because they're it's more personalized, and I don't know, it seems like the better I don't know what I'm trying to say. You like get what I'm saying.
Overall better experience just buying from them. Yeah. I'm about to say, I mean, there's some large companies that I've had, like I'm known on the podcast as the JDM guy. I love Japanese tackle and stuff. So I buy all that stuff, but I'm also known as I buy custom hard baits that have been painted by people all the time, because I love that I can get a bait that might be the same colorway as one I can buy that's mainstream, but there's little differences in it that, you know, and you're buying from a guy who's taking his time, putting his art into or putting his craft into basically making an art piece that you get to fish with. You know, it's supporting smaller companies just is overall better because A, you get to deal directly with you guys, and B, you know, you're not talking to a computer or something, and you're getting a little bit better experience. So yeah, Brad, I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that because you explained it good. So, yeah, you want to get into some of your guys' products? Like, what was the first thing you guys launched for Korso?
We launched most things that are on the website now kind of all at the same time. So the bow tie, the tie down and lie down, and then the bucket. So those are all, you know, available for sale. But I think the first thing we worked on was actually the bow tie. It was just kind of a simple start saying, let's take your typical tie down or cleat really and see what we can do with it. So one of the driving factors or kind of the themes that we tried to put in all of our products is that they're, you know, a quote unquote like upgrade, I'll call it. So anything that we designed, anything we were going to put out, we said it's got to have at least some functionality over top of like what's already available. Because like, why would you buy it beyond just the color? Because we knew we were going to do colors and we're like, yeah, that's something. But like, what can we do to make it a little bit better than what else is out there? So for this one, obviously we looked at like just a general design. This is where the knob started, kind of changing the profile of things, getting like a good, almost looks like a knurling on there. And then we wanted to put some through holes in it just because, you know, then it's very quickly a tie down in itself, right? You can throw a paracord, whatever you need through there.
Yeah.
And then the nut on all these is also a top mounting nut. So it kind of looks like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with M-lock for rifles. Yeah. So it's kind of contoured like that. So if you have like a standard width rail, it goes down, turns in nicely and has a contour on the top that it like catches that rail and should tighten up pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome. Yeah.
So is that like your guys' take on like a zigzag cleat, for instance?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, zigzag has like a different, you know, mechanism with using their paracord, like wrapping through and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is more like you could lash something to it if you wanted to, or you can use it like a traditional cleat.
Yeah. The first thing that popped in my mind when I saw this, and it might have been the other thing, the lie down maybe, I can't remember, is hooking your catchboard to this thing, because there's a lot of spots to hook a catchboard onto a kayak, but there's not really many low profile spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I can't say I've actually heard of anybody specifically saying to do that, but yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first
as
thing I thought of.
someone who has one in the bottom of a lake right now, because I had it latched to my seat, because again, there's nothing low profile. Like I tried different options and it just never worked. And I had it to my seat and I was measuring a fish and my latch got in the way and I was like, all right, whatever, I won't drop it. And then literally 12 seconds later, I dropped it. And it just went like immediately, because I have to be special and get the metal catchboard. So it just hit the bottom of the lake in Mach 1. And it's exactly what he said to me. Right when he said that, I was like, I wish I would have had that last year, because then I would have just saved myself $80.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
The other thing about this, I don't know if like you guys thought of this or not, but have you ever thought about making that an attachment for like a PFD or anything?
We have not. No. We did make sure that all the nuts and stuff are a standard quarter 20, which is what most of the other manufacturers use.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything you want to kind of adapt to it. Like I've had a couple people ask about, you know, I don't have a rail, or I don't want to mount it where a rail is. You know, you can easily just put a hex bolt or whatever you want through the hull or wherever you're going to mount it. But yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I like it. Let's talk about the size a little bit. You know, like the exact dimensions of it.
I think it is like 4.5 inches end to end, or 5 inches, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you end up being like a little bit smaller than a phone or bigger than a credit card, somewhere in there.
yeah.
It's actually
I mean, it's
bigger
just,
than I thought it was going to be.
yeah, it's big enough to be useful, like to do exactly what it's designed to do, but at the same time, it's not like monstrous.
No, definitely
Yes.
not. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not what you want to use to tie up like a yacht, or maybe even like a larger Johnny boat or anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely the right size for a kayak.
Yeah, made for kayak. That makes a lot of sense. So.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, let's. Yeah, so the lie down that I was thinking of for like a tether point. So like the design around this thing, what did you specifically design this product for?
Yeah, so this was kind of just to go along the lines of completing the tie down cleat family. And this one, I think we struggled with at first justifying like why to do it. It was we did it because it made sense, right? Like we've got this vertical tie down, we might as well make a horizontal one. Thinking about people who are kind of tying down crates and stuff, with webbing or like stretch webbing. A lot of people tend to use this as opposed to some of the vertical tie downs if they have something a little bit more low profile. And then with this one, we kicked the slot is actually like kicked on an angle and has like a lower ramp to it. So when you go to feed your webbing in from the bottom, it catches it a little bit better and like feeds it up through the top. So that was kind of our mark.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's interesting.
When you're using it, it's just a little bit nicer to catch it and feed it up through the top.
Is that little notch on that, is that wide enough for like a cam strap to go through?
Yeah, I think you can fit up to 1.5 inches through it.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that opens a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking about redoing what I just did on my trailer.
Yeah, that's another thing with kayaks and stuff. Like when you're kind of strapping them into trucks and stuff, you don't really have very many spots to run your cam strap through to ratchet it down or anything. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I mean, so far. I mean, we only talked about two things, but so far the two things you've opened it to where you're not just making a product. It's what a lot of companies will do. They'll make one thing that does one thing. You're making products that kind of feed into what being a kayak angler is and making the product do what you want it to do. And you're giving the flexibility of both products, like that cleat. Obviously, there's some people who will tie their kayak up to a dock or something. I mean, I did that last year at Eastport Marina. I got off the water, went in, ate at a marina, got back out of it, went back and said, I didn't have a cleat. I just tied a cam strap to a pole and to my seat and hoped it was still there when I got back. And it worked, I guess. But I mean, it's nice because it gives you, like Brad was talking about, the lashing points running a cam strap through it. I mean, the lower ramp you talked about to feed it through. One thing I hate is trying to put a piece of cable or something through something, and I have to get a screwdriver or something to shove it up through the top because it gets caught. It's so annoying.
We've all had that issue on one thing. It's a kayak or a truck, like just has that tie down that is or a lashing point that's such a pain in the butt to get something through.
Yeah, man, it's just, it irks me to no other. And to have something that literally is built to help it guide it up is just awesome. Like, it's just little stuff, like you said. I mean, you're literally explaining exactly what you said at the beginning. The little stuff you don't really recognize or think you need until you have it, and it makes life easier.
Yeah.
Agree with that 1%.
Yep.
You guys also have a Korso bucket. I know Matt's pretty pumped about this when he saw it. So
Let's talk about the
bucket. People have been most interested, other than the rod hold, this is probably the one that people have been most interested in, and probably has the most functionality beyond your typical, like, this is based on a cup holder, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we know that like anything, a cup holder is holding a phone, is holding a pair of pliers, is holding lures, So we figured we'll put some dividers on it, put some dividers in it, and throw a lid on it too. And once we did that with a circular one, we thought it was a little silly that we didn't just make it square. We can give you like the room in the corners. But yeah, so this is just kind of that evolution. Some little things about this one. we have the pattern of holes in the bottom, and there's like actually a contour to the base of to the bottom of the actual bucket that's supposed to like help drain all the water right to those holes, so it drains pretty quickly.
Okay.
And
I see it
that's
right
awesome.
there.
yeah, that's
It's
where
like a
the
funnel.
dividers kind of snap in. Yeah, and the dividers, you can take them out and flip around, do whatever you want to do with them, take them all the way out. For the sizing, it's big enough to fit an Nalgene in it. Probably comes like about halfway up the side of it.
Oh,
Okay.
cool. Yeah, that's
Go ahead.
Okay. I was about to say, I didn't want to cut you off. That's the the first thing when I was on the website when we first said, hey, I found this company, talking to them, blah, blah. I was like, all right, cool. Went on the website, I was looking a little bit, and I was like, oh, it's a cup holder. I was like, it's square. That's cool. And then I saw the lid, and I was like, why's it got a lid? And I saw, and the first thing clicked in my head. I was like, oh my God, lure changers is going to be awesome. And the fact that you just said, oh, it has, it's funneled at the bottom to let the water drain out. It's not like putting it into, like, my cup holder in my kayak is also known as where I put all my soft plastic Texas rigs with hooks in them and everything.
Yeah.
And I just found like 3 lures that I had in there, and my hooks are rusted all get out because it was just sitting in water. And that's the perfect thing. If I take a crankbait off, oh, this color's not hitting, but I want to throw this color, I throw it in there, the water can drain off of it, and I'm not going to deal with rusting. And obviously, with anything, if I left it there for 2 years, that's my own fault. But in the short term, water's able to drain out of it. It's able to get airflow. Like, I'm pumped about that. Like, super pumped, because it's something that would just make, again, just something I didn't think I needed, but it makes sense. I thought it was a cup holder, and it's not. It's so much more than a cup holder, which is awesome.
Multifunction.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of these cup holders out there, like, people are drilling holes in them. They're buying the product and they're drilling the holes themselves. I'm like, you don't really want to do that. It should already have that when you get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So the snap points actually around the outside of it, around the perimeter. The lid you can snap off and flip it around and stuff, but the snap points, you can actually like stick a hook up in them, and depending on the size of the hook, you can snap the lid down on top of it. It kind of retains it a little bit, and then your baits kind of hang around the perimeter.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so it's an easy way to get like a bunch of them on there if you're wanting easy access. You're changing certain things over.
Yeah. So if you flip your kayak, your baits aren't going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to warranty them, but they should stay in place.
That's cool, man.
That is one thing I really want to talk about. I know we're going to get to the rod holder, which is the mystery product because it's not out yet. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But another thing that I really love about just, learning about Korso and whatnot is you guys have that limited lifetime warranty, which is awesome. So you don't see that stuff on kayak accessories very often, or anything really anymore. And it's 100% made in America, correct, on the website, made in the US, and a limited to lifetime warranty. Like, that's awesome. Like,
we're pretty confident in standing behind it and having tested some of it. If you really, really beat it up, I'm sure there's some things you can do to it, and we're happy that you've used it hard. So
yeah.
So what does the limited lifetime warranty entail?
Really, it's going to come down to like product failures, things like that. We haven't had, knock on wood, we haven't had any issues yet, but it's pretty early.
Right.
Like if for some reason we're typically like talking at least early days, like manufacturing defects or things that are failing a little too early. Like, maybe one of the snaps on one of the dividers comes off and we're happy to replace that for you. Or like even the lid we did a lot of testing on actually, with the snap features. We had worries about people kind of leaving it open and accidentally hitting it and stuff. So, it's pretty robust at this point that you can smack it, and if you hit it hard enough, it'll come off, but the snap features will stay intact. So,
okay.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's really just kind of saying that we definitely stand behind our products and we're not going to just prematurely fail on you and become a failure point that, we're going to be like, oh, well, you abused it. We might ask you how it broke because we want to make it better, but
Yeah. Always improving. Yeah, I'd imagine somebody like stepping on it, trying to get into the kayak. You're probably not going to warranty.
yeah,
that's
we find most people are pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
about that stuff. So
very cool. Matt, you got anything else on that? Because I know you were all about that thing. So.
Man, I'm all about the bucket already, and just talking about it more, so making it like awesome. I'm on the website on another thing looking at it, and it's the snaps. And you mentioned the colors. I'm a big fan of just the different color options, even if they're subtle. Like obviously with the bucket, the outside is that gray, and I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, we haven't done any of the blue ones yet. We just did a first run of the gray.
And I'm looking at the light blue one, and that looks awesome. And it's like you said, everything else on the market is black or like a nylon, or it's a shade of black. That's all they are, which is fine. But having a little bit of pop to something is cool in and of itself too. Like that blue looks awesome.
There you go.
And we're trying our best to do like a consistent color matching and everything of all the which is not trivial sometimes with polymers, to make sure you kind of have consistent coloration. But we want to make sure that if you buy like, a tie down and a lie down and a bucket, like it all looks like it matches. So
yeah.
Cool.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, all right. Yeah,
we
I think we covered that.
Do more and more with the colors as we go on. I know we've had a couple requests for red. It was we were going to do red, but you can only do so many colors to start. So
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
I can imagine that red on the Bonafide SS127, that red.
Oh yeah,
just matching it. That would look slick.
Yeah, heck, he'd look good on the gray Bonafide too.
It would. And the plus is I have a gray Bonafide, so I could have gray stuff on the outside, and then everything inside be that color.
There you go.
Money.
That's cool. All right, so you want to talk about the rod holder? I think this is the last product we have, right?
Yeah, I think there was a tie down too, but that's pretty similar to the lie down. I think the only thing we really tried to do with that is make sure that it was a top loading, and you can also angle it, because if you're putting straps over something, it's nice to be able to angle it if they're not going straight over top. But
right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we can talk about the rod holder.
Heck yeah. When are you guys going to release that?
It's going to be this summer. It might be a little late in the summer, but
okay.
Yeah,
this thing looks interesting. Like I first saw it, I glanced over it at first, and then I went back and was like, wait, is that a rod holder? That's kind of interesting. I don't even know where to start. Like, how did you guys come up with that design?
We went through a lot of different designs with this. We did like what Stealth does with their rod holder, where they have like the two camming pieces that come in. It's a really great design on their part. Having talked to the guy before, I mean, he's pretty proud of it himself, and to his credit, it was great. So we kind of wanted something that was at least going to provide like that cushioning, like I got the rod kind of feel. So we ended up going with these elastomer wheels after a bunch of different iterations on various ways to do it. We had ended up with these articulating polymer arms that come in, and the wheels themselves have spokes that are purposely put like on an angle. You can kind of see how they're swirled almost. And that's so that as you push the rod down, the spokes almost like collapse around it and then squeeze it. And then as you pull it up, it gives a little bit more resistance because you're kind of going the opposite direction, kind of counter to the direction that the spokes want to spin and hold it in. So it gives you like a little bit easier like latch in and entry with the rod, and then more resistance as you're trying to remove it. So that's kind of like what inspired the whole top half of this thing.
Okay.
And then we just added an elastomer release around the back that you can actually like flip it around the bottom and snap it on there for storage. But it just gives you a little bit more security with the rod.
Okay. So
yeah.
these wheels that you can adjust them in and out according to rod sizes, like the diameter of a rod.
They're not adjustable, but there's a spring that goes underneath the bottom, underneath their pivot. So it has a pretty wide range of rods that it can fit.
Okay.
We've talked about doing that before, where we would basically make like a larger version if you were gonna do like deep sea fishing stuff like that.
Yeah. Your offshore stuff.
Yeah, more offshore stuff. That you could fit a larger rod diameter, like a little bit more comfortably, basically making larger arms for it. But this is really made for your typical cork handles and everything. And then the base for this one is kind of a jumping off point into some other accessories that we're going to do planned in the future. The bottom nut like twists, and it's a quick connect base, kind of like if you've seen the Yak Attack ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like quick connect for their. But we wanted to do a larger base because we found that those were like there was too much play for us. So as we go through this, I mean, one thing that I didn't talk about in the other pieces is where we plan on grooming fits as we do our mold development. Like I said, we all have a history in injection molding. So we know that if you want something that's going to lock up tightly and have like a good snap fit or something, it's most likely not going to happen on the first go around. You kind of design to your best guess, and you make the mold, and then from there you measure, tweak, maybe a little bit more prototyping, and then make another adjustment until we get the right snap fits. So we've got a good guess on our prototypes that we 3D printed, and we're going ahead with that. But the whole rod holder snaps off of the orange base. That's held down with the two wing nuts, or like kind of dry wing nuts that we have in there.
Yeah.
And then the collar, the other gray collar on top of it, once it's actually locked in place, it indexes like every 10 degrees. So that is adjustable. You can rotate it and obviously tilt it.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Does it kind of like interlocked with each other, those 10-degree increments?
Yep. Yeah. There's a bunch of, like, if you were to take it apart, you'd see a bunch of different splines and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
very cool. Does this thing also like pivot? Like if you want to point it out however many degrees?
Yep. Yeah. Every 10 degrees, you can tilt it about what are we going to call it, the Z axis. And then like you can tilt it like every 15 or 20 degrees, like up and down the pitch.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. With that much movement in it, I can see, like, especially guys who typically like walleye troll, for example, they'll have on the back of their boat, but it's starting to become more common with kayaks with the ease of putting a motor on a boat and they're trolling. Having a couple of those. Yeah. I mean, you could put, with the different degrees, you can easily put, if you wanted to, 4 lines out the back of your kayak and have them tilted at, pointed and tilted at different degrees and different angles to where none of your lines are going to run into each other, but you're able to cover more water. So, I mean, that's awesome. Like the amount of flexibility that you have and to tune it exactly how you want it to. And like you said, how robust it's been made. I mean, like how you guys thought about making those spokes in the cam wheels just a little bit angled, so when you pop it in, it locks down on itself. I mean, that alone, the safety of a rod, because I may have lost a catchboard, but I've also lost a rod.
Yeah, we've heard that story. Yeah. More than one person. So.
I got that one back. That one sucks, but it would have saved me a trip in the water. So, I mean, that's awesome. And the quick detach, I can only imagine what applications you could use that for.
Yeah, that's kind of like where some future things like camera holders. A lot of people, getting into the YouTube scene and stuff like that. We have a camera holder that's in development that's going to use like the same lower portion, right? But then have a boom that goes out and have an adjustable head with a ram nut and everything. So that's kind of
that's awesome
down the line.
So I think the thing that I like the most about this rod holder is it has 2 points to tighten it down. Whereas like other rod holders out there, they kind of only have that one spot to tighten. And like when you are trolling or something like that, it kind of waves and stuff like that. I don't see that happening with this because it has those 2 points of tie downs on your gear track.
Yeah, we ended up, we looked at trying to do single point of attachment But once you start stacking things up with the way we designed some other things, it just got like too tall and gangly. And we like that we went for like a larger base. So from like side to side, it's like it's at least 2 inches wide. We found that worked well for a lot of the fishing specific kayaks where they're recessing the gear tracks like right into the gunnels and stuff. So it does try to give you like a little bit more of a sturdy base, like you were saying, so you don't get as much as that like side to side movement.
Yeah, going or talking about like fish finder mounts and stuff like that, it's hard to find a good fish finder mount for that reason. So if you guys come out with one,
yeah, I was literally gonna say. So is there any thoughts on a fish finder mount with that same concept? Because that would be legit. Because my fish finder mount is on a single point and it likes to wave when I'm going.
Dude, that drives me nuts.
It drives me nuts because I was like, why is this moving so much? And I like I said at the beginning, I'm breaking my fingers trying to get it as tight as I can, and it still moves. And I'm thinking, like, why are you moving so much? And I was like, if that just breaks off, my fish finder's gonna go face screen down on the bottom of the kayak and hit something. And if it cracks, I'm just gonna throw it over the board. And I mean, it's so yeah, maybe, if you guys have a fish finder, just holler at me and I'll test it for you.
All right, I'll let you know.
No, that's a cool design, man. Unique. Like I said, everything caught my eye, so it's pretty cool. Glad I found it.
The colors alone. Like I'm looking at the blue and yellow one, and as an Ohio State fan, I'm not allowed to talk about those colors in conjunction, but it looks slick. Like it looks really cool.
The blue does look cool. It's like two-tone blue.
Yeah.
I
guess one thing
blue by
I didn't
itself
talk about is the collar on this one. We're planning to do on some other components we've done before. We use it's called like a super aggressive laser texture. And it almost feels like sandpaper. Like if you ever like skateboarded, they get that super gritty, like almost 60 grit sandpaper on the actual like turning knob. So we're looking to incorporate that into the rod holder first, and then we've got a couple of other ideas of places we can put that, because we've done it on touch points for like other customers for different things, and they really enjoy it. It's got a really good tactile feel.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, well, that's just slick. I'll have to buy a different color. I'm not allowed to have that. I'll get yelled at by too many people. But that's slick, and I like how same thing Brad did when I was looking at him. I scrolled over it at first because I didn't know what it was, because it doesn't look like your traditional rod holder. It doesn't have the giant boom and all that stuff. And I was like, I just scrolled through it, and then I did the same thing. I was like, what was that? And I scrolled back up, and it said rod holder, and I was like, looked at it some more, and then I was looking at it, and I saw coming 2022, and I was like, oh, of course.
You don't gotta wait much longer. It's all good.
No.
We'll go fast.
I think the very last thing we could talk about here, I mean, it's self-explanatory, but you guys also offer gear track, and it looks like you can get colored gear track.
Yeah. So this is in the works right now. Should be coming out like early summer, maybe late spring. So it's just, colored anodized gear track. We tried to do kind of like more of a profiled look to it. So anywhere you're adding gear track, like on top of the kayak or on the side of it, this is like almost looks like a trapezoid from the end. So you're kind of like hopefully blending a little bit more with the look of that hull. And we've even toyed around with selling like just the raw extrusion, because we're all ourselves like kind of DIY guys, like, working with a bunch of mechanical engineers. So we do sell like the T-nuts and the actual knobs and stuff. So like if somebody's like, hey man, I'm working on my own, rod holder, whatever it may be. I had somebody reach out the other day about them, and I was like, sure, we'll sell you a bunch of nuts, whatever you want, if you're looking for something like that, because you want to, like I said, this guy's working on his own rod holder. So we were looking at actually even selling like 3-foot sections of this extrusion. So say you want to do like a big section of your boat, or even people talking about doing, one of the guys at work wants to do it on his trailer. Just put a big section of it so we can throw stuff on there.
That's a really good idea. I never thought about that on a trailer.
Oh boy. I'm running out of room on the trailer.
me and Matt literally just modified his trailer this past week, and he's trying to brainstorm more ideas for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm literally just trying to think of like how much crap could I put on this trailer so I don't have it in or on my truck, because I have like a truck rack that has my rod holders, and me and him are thinking, I was like, well, they don't make a truck rack that fits on these trailers easily, and I was like, we just like, I don't know, take a hacksaw and take like 2 inches off of it, it'll probably fit. And like I'm just thinking of stuff like that, and this would be cool, especially since I'm going to try the terrible journey of painting my galvanized trailer. So maybe I could paint it a color that you guys sell. That would be dope.
There you go.
So like for instance, how much is like a 3-foot piece of that gear track?
I don't think I've done the numbers on it just yet. So I'm going to go with, it's because we would probably sell the 3-foot section like without all the holes and machining in it, unless we were going to just like sell it as like in the raw piece of aluminum. So like if you're going to get the 3-foot section and just kind of do whatever you wanted to it, we'd probably sell it to you for like $40, maybe 30 or $40 somewhere in there.
That's not bad considering 12 inch is 35.
We're not anodizing it and everything.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It opens a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, like I could see running that stuff on top of like your rack and like pointing light down or something. You know what I mean?
That's literally that. You already read my mind, because I was gonna somehow, when I get this rack up there, I'm gonna run it on the sides of my rack and then put like I'll buy some of those T-bolts and buy some of those nuts and make lights to where I can see stuff at night. Because my headlamp, I always forget it because I'm an idiot, and my phone sucks. So,
yeah, it's always the situation where you got the phone in one hand and you're trying to like where you set it up on something to try and shine down. And
yeah, I've broken like 9 phones doing that, because it's either fallen off the top of my old Jeep or fell off my truck, or I hit it and it went to God knows where. With of course the flashlight being on the ground at night, so I couldn't see that. It's just great.
We're learning a lot about Matt tonight. He's lost a catchboard, a rod, phones.
Matt is clumsy, but learn from Matt and get some lie downs from Korso, so you can lash your stuff up and not watch them go into the drift, or have to go after a rod and be freezing in April in Tennessee, when the one cold day I'm there is the day I lose the rod and I wanted to die. So
as long as it's not your mega bass rod, that'd be bad.
Oh yeah, I would cry. I would just quit. I'd quit fishing immediately. I'd give you all my stuff. You can have it. I'd just be done, because no, I can't replace it. So they don't make it anymore. So yeah, I'd be really upset.
That'd be bad. Well, is there anything else to hit on?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all. Yeah, really. Thanks for going through it all, and then for having me on to explain everything.
Yeah. I like to tell everybody that this is like a virtual fishing expo. Like our show is.
Yeah.
This is the booth. Yeah, I need to really.
Yeah, I was say you come in the booth and you're talking.
My displays, yeah.
Well,
it's okay, man. Mine's just a sheet. That's all it is. It's a sheet tacked to the wall in my concrete basement, and it's great.
Yeah, this is kind of my temporary office. We're working on my actual one, putting in some new floors and stuff. So,
gotcha. Well, you did mention over the email that you wanted to share a code with the listeners.
Yeah. So I don't know when this one comes out, but I put on a code, Paddle and Fin 10. So PADDLENFIN 10. Get you 10% off. So check it out.
Awesome. I will put that in the show notes, Paddle and Fin 10, and this will. I don't know what date this will air, but I'll let you know. But KorsoOutdoors.com. They got Facebook. They got an Instagram. There you go. Matt pulled it up on the screen for all you YouTube watchers. Anything else you want to add before we end this?
I mean, season's getting started for us out here on the East Coast, so good luck out there. Finally seeing some fun.
Yeah.
But if you guys have, any other questions for me or anybody out there has got some questions, feel free to shoot us an email. I am the guy who answers all the emails, so feel free to be mad at me if I don't get back to you in time.
You heard it here first, folks. If he doesn't email you, you can be mad at Jake and send him a mean email.
I'll have to own that one.
He'll get
Email
to it.
him 10 more times.
Yeah, blow him up. Just kidding. Don't do that. That's annoying. I work with people that do that, and I want to just not talk to them anymore. So don't do that. But yeah, man, we really appreciate you coming on. It was awesome, and I mean, the products you showed are awesome. I'm excited to see what you guys come out with in the future.
Like I said, we're hoping to keep going with all these kayak accessories, and hopefully we keep going from there. We're all kind of outdoor guys. We know that everybody who kayak fishes or kayaks, is into something else, and so we're hoping to kind of keep the accessories thing going with kayaking, boating, hoping to get into biking and stuff too. So stay tuned.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I'm gonna say I've got one question for you before I give it to Brad and we sign off. If you were out fishing and you can only pick one technique and one style of bait to use, what would you use? Oh, I know it brings it down a lot.
I'm not even that big of a fisher, to be honest.
Oh man.
It's Kaz the one at work who does a lot of the fishing. I'm the one who does a lot of the designing.
I got you. Well, you mentioned Magpool for that. Are you into firearms and hunting or?
Into stuff like that for sure. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Growing up in we're out of Pennsylvania, so growing up in Pennsylvania all my life, I mean, whitetail hunting every year. It's like it's a holiday, man.
Oh yeah, you guys got the Covenant flintlock season. You lucky.
Oh yeah, that too. That's an elusive treat to get a whitetail with a flintlock.
Oh yeah, I bet it is. You're shooting a gun from the 1700s.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad goes out for that very consistently, and I tell him
that's cool.
I go out every now and then, but I'm like, man, it is cold. It is Christmas time. I need to stay inside for a little bit.
Yeah. See, that's how I am when it comes to fishing. Right when it gets too cold, I'm inside and I'll keep a rod in the truck and spin it. And then you have Brad who puts on his big yellow bird, his big bird dry suit and goes out and he's breaking ice with his kayak and catching fish in 12-degree weather. And he's like, it's not even that cold. I was like, it's crazy,
dude. Rather out there breaking ice is fun. I'd rather be doing that than sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's why I hunt.
I mean, it's a form of breaking something. It's fun.
It's true. I'll give you that. It's all right. We're gonna get Brad on some waterfowl this year, so he'll get out and enjoy some hunting.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I am ready.
Cool.
Well, man, we'll end it here. Thanks for coming on the show again. Appreciate it. It was a good
thanks
time.
for having me.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week, and thanks for dealing with my raspy voice tonight. So everybody have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Later, thanks for tuning in to another killer episode here on Paddle and Fin. Be sure to drop a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, or smash that subscribe button on any platform you're listening in on. Be sure to check us out on WAYPOINT TV, waypointtv.com. Make sure you sign up for the Fantasy Kayak Fishing League at paddleandfin.com/fantasy. You could support this show through Patreon, patreon.com/paddleandfin. Don't forget to check out the website, paddleandfin.com. Catch us on YouTube. If you got a question, comment, or want to see a future guest on the show, be sure to email us at paddleandfin@gmail.com. Shout out to our show supporters, Yak Gadget. You can check out all the fine kayak accessories at yakgadget.com. Pelican Professional. For all your cases, coolers, and lighting needs, go to pelican.com. Rocktown Adventures, your Midwest premier paddle sports destination. Go to rocktownadventures.com. Eastport Marina, the beautiful destination on Dale Hollow Lake. If you're looking for lodging, kayaks, kayak accessories, or anything fishing related on the beautiful Dale Hollow Lake, go to eastport.info. And Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com and fill your tackle boxes today.